different because I took certain liberties with it that you're not supposed to take when you do a cover. You're supposed
Yeah.
to do it pretty much the way they do it.
Now, who
But
said
I
that
went
rule?
off in
Wait,
a whole
wait.
different direction after,
It's a good
even wrote
cover.
lyrics for it,
It's a good
different
cover.
lyrics stuff for it. So I call it Love Magic Murder, but it's put a spell on you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting. You're not the first person to rewrite a chord progression or
Yeah.
the melody run. I mean, you can't copyright a chord progression, so you've done nothing wrong.
Yeah. I'm
Don't
not
tell anyone
sure.
it's a rip off. Don't tell them. Tell them
Yeah,
that you
I
wrote it.
know. And
No, and I wrote it.
they ran their algorithm against it and they
Yeah,
didn't even think it was a cover.
there you go.
So
So, well,
it's like,
because the lyrics and the melody are the copyrighted part. So even
well,
if you copied the melody,
I
the
did
lyrics would be
use
completely
the
different.
melody, that first lyric that he does, I put a
Yeah.
spell on you
All right.
because you're mine. I mean, they should have picked it up right there,
Heidi.
but they didn't. And it's the same fifth blues progression.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
play it a little different rhythm, but
Well, good. You fooled them, and sometimes that's all that
yeah, that's
matters,
cool.
right? How you guys doing today? Look
We're
at you,
doing
Latch.
good. It's a
You getting
beautiful
high
day
tech?
here today. I
Yeah.
just had a cop here. I sold a bunch of stuff to, legit. So it's a good day.
That's good. He wasn't there to arrest you this
No,
time.
not this time. No, those days are gone.
Thank goodness. All right.
Where are you?
I'm in Portland, Oregon. Actually,
Portland.
Oh, you're
Vancouver,
in Portland.
Washington. It's a suburb of Portland. It's right across the river in Washington, but
Oh
Vancouver,
yeah.
Washington.
It's what Vancouver?
Are you guys on the coast, Oregon coast,
Yeah,
right?
we
Yeah, pretty
Warrington
much.
by
Yep.
Seaside, by
Okay,
Astoria.
Seaside.
Yeah,
Roger,
between
Dodger.
Astoria and Seaside right
Yeah,
there.
Love that area.
it's beautiful.
It is.
Now that I'm older, it's beautiful. Before, when I was younger, it's like can't wait to get out of this place. But the umbilical cord never breaks; it just stretches real far.
Well, home is where the something, I don't know, something
Yeah.
happens at home. I don't
Right
know.
on. That's where shit happens.
So, how are
That's right.
you? How are you doing?
I'm doing awesome. We're in that like how many days are we till we leave? We
We
leave on
got
the
like
20th.
11 days.
Yeah, so it's that the last cram where you get everything boxed up and shipped to
Right.
Texas where it gets picked up by the bus and then the bus meets us in Colorado on the 20th.
Right on. Right on.
So and then I got rehearsals start next week, so I've got this week to get everything learned
I
and
appreciate you
practiced.
getting back with us.
Well, I was
I
already set up
appreciate
and it's been too long already,
it.
so
It has been. It
it
has been.
has.
And I'm finding that with a few people I've met
You
now.
play a fiver, huh?
Yeah, he
Yeah,
plays.
I'm five exclusively. I don't like changing back and forth. That way I don't have to readjust my brain.
And
Yeah.
that's a Warmoth, is that
This
correct?
is Bella. So Bella was given to me by Warmouth just a couple months ago. Chad Rupp, my best friend,
Right.
did a lot of the work on her, put it all together for me and got it set up. We took it to Five-Star Guitars.
Is that
And
machine?
yes, the Plek machine,
That thing's
Plek.
awesome.
Oh,
They take the beast and they tie it up inside of there so it can't get away. And then the machine takes a finger and it feels the fingerboard and the frets over 6,000 places and documents it. And then it shows you a representation everywhere on the fingerboard of what that fret height looks like.
Right.
Then when you tell it how you want it set, it goes in and it starts grinding the frets that are too high. And then it's just
It's a
perfectly
cool machine. It's really
perfectly
cool.
flawless to I think it's 6 thousandths of an inch when
Wow.
it's all said and done. And it's really remarkable. The bass was already, it came from the factory just playing beautifully, but unbelievable when you take that extra step and just make it perfect. And then the luthier, after it's all done grinding, he hand buffs all the frets, and I couldn't be happier. They were so
It's a
good to me. They
beautiful
gave me
guitar. That's beautiful.
the wood. They
That is
just, some
nice.
the
tweaks just
luthier
light.
has been reduced to a polisher now because of
Oh,
the
I wouldn't go
machines.
that far. They gotta know stuff, man. They gotta know stuff. Yeah. So
The
that's
shoe
been
guy.
going
I
on.
mean,
This is Bella. She's already. I got some cases coming from Enki cases, the double case to get this and Fred, my other Warmouth, on the tour through the flight without dying. And
Right.
I got a bunch of cables coming from Pig Hog Cables. They
Cool.
just signed up with them. I'm very excited about them. They make these awesome beefy cables that just sound great and
yeah.
last forever.
Oh, you're sponsored by Pig Hog?
I'm endorsing artists for Pig Hog. Just landed that yesterday.
That's cool.
So there's so many expenses tied to getting ready to go
Oh,
out
I
on tour.
bet. Yeah.
I
I mean,
bet.
you're looking at nearly $1,000 when you replace all the things that are kind of aging and time to be
Right.
upgraded. So it's okay. You're good for another couple years now. But
Right.
the endorsement agreements really help reduce those
Oh,
costs
I
by
bet.
quite
I
a bit.
bet. Right on. Right on.
Awesome, man.
And you're touring with Paul Gilbert for the Washington, what is it?
Washington's Rules of Conduct. So
That's right.
George Washington transcribed when he was like 14 years old a French book that was about Oh, rules of civility. It's rules of
Right.
civility.
Civility, right.
And they're just general guidelines to how to behave in public and not be disrespectful and be appreciated by other people. And he wrote 14 songs about
That's
these different
cool.
rules. And it's amazing how that guy can take a rule about behavior and turn it into a 5-part, multi-complex,
Right.
multi-genre song. It's just remarkable. The guy's a brilliant genius.
He is a genius for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
I didn't know George Washington played.
Whoa.
Cat gut strings legitimately, probably.
Cat get strings, yeah.
Definitely.
I don't know why I did that.
I don't know why I did that either. It like went out for a second, but oh well. But so how many dates are you going to be playing? How long is the tour?
The tour is 6 weeks. We leave on the 20th, and the last date is May 30th. April 20th. April 21st is the first date in Colorado. May 30th is the last date. I can't remember if that's Texas or Tennessee. I can't remember. But we run pretty much West Coast. Actually, no West Coast. There aren't any
I
West
saw
Coast.
that. I was going to
Yeah.
ask that.
I heard a lot about that. A lot of people are disappointed. I'll tell you about this. Don't let me forget. I just added a Paul Gilbert West Coast date today, and I'll tell you what that is when we finish this
Oh,
conversation.
wow.
Cool.
But yeah, we're getting all the way to New York. We have 3 dates at the Iridium, which is Les Paul played at the Iridium. So for me, playing at the Iridium was like
That's a big deal.
you get to tighten that. We did that on the last tour, but this time it's 3 dates, so that's cool.
Right on.
Rhode Island, Pennsylvania, Florida, several dates in Texas. Anyway, you get the idea. 6
Right
weeks. The first 4 weeks are about 6 shows a week, and then the last 2 would come down to 5 shows a week.
Right on.
So
Slacking
cool.
there at the end.
probably
a lot of
wiped out and
shows.
trying to recover.
That's
It's a lot of
shows.
traveling, but
Especially for singers.
oh, I can't. Paul put a lot instrumentals into the
It's a good idea.
show for that exact reason, so he wouldn't have to worry so much about his voice maintenance. And then Jeff Martin sings quite a bit too.
Right on.
So, and then it's lots of harmony vocals. That's one of the things I'm working on today is all my harmony parts for the run.
Right on.
One of the songs Paul has on the tour is a 20-minute, maybe it's 25 minutes compilation medley of Paul Gilbert's greatest hits. So it's just like 20 of his most amazing songs all squished into one gigantic song.
That's
designed
cool.
I love
make
when they
the,
do that tastefully, and it even though you know the song, it shocks you where they put it, and it sounds
exactly
great,
a whole new context,
like,
a whole new
cool, man.
energy.
I didn't think about putting those two together.
He was over the other night and I was putting on videos and stuff, and I found one of him doing Holy Diver.
Yeah, right. He has
And
that whole album.
was saying that he used like the vocal line. He played the
he
vocal
played
line,
the vocal line on the guitar for that.
and that was interesting because it was singing. You
Yeah.
can tell there's something singing there. It was pretty cool. I haven't heard a version like that. For sure.
He did a whole Dio album where he played the melodies on the guitar, and one of his fascinations is how to make a guitar sound like a human voice.
Right.
And I've seen him work in multiple, like how to make it sound on the Christmas album. He was trying to emulate Bette Midler and someone else. That's one of the things. How do you make a guitar get those nuances that make it sound human? So he studies at a microscopic depth that most of us can't even see.
He's definitely
deep diver.
Exactly.
He's good. He's a genius for sure.
So I just got announced today. So one of the projects that I run is called Timmer's Guitarmageddon.
Okay.
Timmer's Guitarmageddon, based out of the Pacific Northwest. And it's where I grab 3 or 4 of the best guitarists I can find within 500 miles and put them on a show together. And you can find the Timmer's Guitarmageddon page on Facebook if you're looking for it. We just had a show with some very well-known Portland, Pacific Northwest artist Raphael Tranquilino out of Seattle, Kevin Self from Kevin Self and the Tornadoes out of Portland, and Chad Rupp from Chad Rupp and the Sugar Roots out of Portland, Oregon. And so today we announced a Guitarmageddon slot at the Waterfront Blues Festival, July 2nd. And that'll be with those 3 fellas, Kevin Self, Raphael Tranquilino, and Chad Rupp, and special guest Paul Gilbert. Awesome. So Paul Gilbert has a show on the West Coast this year that I know of, which will be at the Waterfront Blues Festival.
That's cool. That'll be cool for sure.
I'm very excited to have him on that.
Definitely.
I'm glad you found someone to fill my slot with those guitars when I had.
Yeah, you weren't available, and it wasn't.
Maybe next year.
I'm glad somebody was able to step up. They were afraid when I mentioned Vince, and it's like, oh, I can't do that. And I said, it'll be okay.
I was feeling really bad about that.
Don't feel. We'll get you in November, okay? Just let me know when
We're
you're
gonna
going to
be
be here. We'll
okay
get you.
without you.
No, we'll miss you. I'll talk to you, talk about you the whole show. It's like Vince couldn't be your guys. I'm so sorry.
That'd
And
be
he'll
funny.
check in from the road. You said he would do too once in a
Yeah, we
while.
can do a live from the road, you and I, while we're out there. And if
Oh,
I'm
oh,
lucky, I
hell
can
yeah.
sneak
That'd
Paul
be
in
I
there.
good.
think it'd be fun. Something different for sure.
Absolutely.
And spreading the message. Spread some.
Absolutely.
Because
So
that's
you've
one
been,
thing I've learned. I've always been on of musicians, rock stars, whatever. Because I don't know. I just always have been.
yeah.
But I'm finding also that everybody's real people when it comes
Uh,
down to it
Isn't
too.
that amazing? We get this illusion of who they are, and
Yeah,
we paint the picture in our head of how they became that and what they're like. And, we only see them for a very isolated clip of their life.
exactly,
We don't see them
exactly,
plunging their toilet and washing their
exactly.
dirty
Because they do
undies.
all
They
that too.
they do. They wash the dirty underwear too. Everyone does.
Yep. So
Cleaning the
it's
cat
been
box.
really cool. Like with me, I troll Facebook, and I've said this on almost every show now since probably the show before yours with Bo and stuff. I said I troll Facebook. That's how I get my guests. And everybody seems to say, "Well, you're looking for us at least,"
That's exactly right.
and slowly but surely, I'm getting my groove on with this thing a little bit, better, and I know I'm having a fucking blast, and I think most of my guests are having fun too with it. I think, as far as I
Absolutely.
know, and it's spreading the message,
It is.
So,
Anytime you're proactive, you're going to get shit done, and
yep,
you're building a catalog
right,
of these documentations of
right,
these people's lives at that moment in time, which is
exactly.
invaluable. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. I've been working hard as a bass
No,
player
you've helped this show out tremendously. You've given me carte blanche with you, a little bit on it.
I'm
So
glad I could help. You earned,
and
you
I
deserve it.
appreciate it.
Anybody helping us, I want to help them because it's
Right,
symbiotic that way.
exactly.
Who were some of your more recent guests have you had on?
I had this guy named Nathan Lick. I think his last name's Lich. He's a black guy from Philadelphia who
Uh-huh.
was in the foster system. He went through like 18 homes, 15 homes, and then he was 18 and they kicked him out.
Oh yeah, sure.
And he lived in the hood in Philadelphia. And he would, people would go, and he knows how to rap too. He goes, I know how to rap, but they'd all, you got to rap. And he goes, and it's going to be a real, he goes, I just wanted to rock, he says. And I went, awesome. He's a really cool dude. Worked for the DA's office in Philadelphia and was like a liaison to the press, but he said all I talked about was dead babies and stuff, and I got sick of it.
Sure.
He'd have to do the press conferences on this stuff, and it got him. It got to him a little bit, and he's full time into music right now. He's got a wife who encourages him big time. She's like an acting coach, I believe.
Interesting.
He's a cool dude. That's the one I'm working on right now, but I found this guy named Joe Sims from Akron, Ohio. He has a band called Axe Master, and this guy's a soldier. He's been going at it since '82 with this band, and he was, working up a little GoFundMe thing so that he could pay for, this record company, put their part into it. And
Hmm.
they have like Wasp on their catalog, that they promote. So, and a couple others, Whitechapel, I think, too. Um, so he's involved with some good people, obviously, but he was working on the money. So he's a soldier, is what he is. He's a fucking soldier.
Yeah.
He keeps putting into it, keeps trudging along, and he's a cool dude, really cool dude.
That's
Oh,
44 years with the same band.
Yeah, that's
That's something.
amazing.
wow. That's some brand building right there.
That
That's
is.
some loyalty
That is.
too.
He's a cool dude. He's a very cool dude.
I'll make sure to check him out and get him a hit
Yeah,
on the follow.
definitely,
You're
definitely.
working with mostly rock guys, right? You're dealing.
Well, and see, that's the thing, when that's what I set out to do. But then I found Daphne from Daphne and the Mystery Machines.
Uh-huh.
That's Scooby
What
Doo
a
right there.
cool
I know.
name,
I went,
right?
that's the coolest name I've ever heard for a
Does
band.
she look like Daphne?
She kind of does. She's
That
got
works.
redhead, but she's got a good story herself. But she's not. She's like Alison Krauss type music. She is
Interesting.
so not rock, it's ridiculous,
Huh.
but she's been in rock bands and punk bands before. But she's got the best voice I've ever heard. Her voice is amazing, amazing. And I'm not saying I discovered, but I promoted her to all my friends. I said, you got to listen to this chick. And I don't promote nothing but rock usually,
Right,
and
right.
she's amazing,
But good
so,
music is good music, isn't it? No
oh,
matter
it's
what
great
it
music,
is.
great
Yeah.
music, so I'm
Stands
going,
out pretty good.
if they stand out or something, you know, in my head, at least I'll have them on. I don't care who it is.
And you mentioned something that I think is really relevant, and you said it more than once, working really hard. These are people working so
Working
hard.
hard.
One of the
They got
most
regular jobs.
and they're doing this in all of their spare time. And
Exactly.
I'm going to give a shout out to all of the families of professional musicians that are watching this, wives, sons,
Right.
daughters.
Definitely.
You make sacrifices so that we can do what we do. It takes all of our time to just
Right.
scratch the surface at this, and
Yeah.
it takes all your support to empower that. And we appreciate that, whether we tell you that or not. I'm
Right.
telling you,
I
we do. It
know.
makes a
I
difference.
appreciate that. That definitely I appreciate. It gives me a little extra fuel, because I'm making progress. I may not have the viewers or whatever yet, but I'm making progress. I'm getting the guests, that
Yes,
I know. I'm
that's where it
really
starts.
blessed with the guests I've got, because most people you troll Facebook or something, they're gonna go, but I do it for the right reasons.
Absolutely.
you
And you know
know.
what?
And
When
that
when
way.
the goal is the right goal, the byproducts always fall
Right.
into place, I believe.
Right.
I have one of my things. So I own a little record label, Lightning in a Bottle Records, where I help a lot of blues artists primarily, but not just. And one of the things I always tell them right out of the gate, your process is create, capture, monetize. Start creating your art, start sharing your art and capturing that audience so that you can get your art to that audience constantly and specifically. And then you can learn how to sell them your art. But it starts with creating and then it continues with capturing those people. And that's exactly what you're doing. You're in the create and capture mode right now.
And you got the person's got to give away what they get, and
That's true.
that's the
Yeah.
biggest one right there. You help people and you give away what you got.
It's
Otherwise, you
how
don't get to keep it. That's a little AA thing, but I totally believe in that type of stuff.
I fully agree. I fully agree. And also, it's all, this also puts in the context of a community
That's right.
conversation, which is really
Right.
what this is about, building communities about music around music. So
Exactly.
there you
Exactly.
go.
So I read you put a post up about you resigned from the president of the Cascade Blues Association.
That is correct. When I came in, so for those, because I know you guys are primarily rock, but blues associations, they're around the world.
Right.
They're community hubs for people that love blues music and typically for blues musicians within a certain geographic area. That Blues Foundation supports all of them through bonding them all together
Right.
and marketing, kind of like what you do in a lot of genres.
Right.
And in 2019, it was 2020 when the world crashed, right?
Right.
Everything took a hit like that, especially blues societies, because they're in-person communal things. So a lot of them shut down, a lot of them got way reduced the involvement. So it's been a rebuilding process ever since then. And a couple years ago, a year and a half ago, the presidency position opened up and I took it. And I worked hard to improve our value to our community, the CBA's value to our musician community, to our musicians, and to the audience. So that, again, to just bring us all tighter together.
Right.
People want to be a part of the experience. And I achieved a lot of my goals. But one of the problems that I found to be a barrier, especially towards the end, as the CBA became a value to the musicians, was my ownership of Lightning in a Bottle Records kind of put a barrier for my artists for me to utilize them for the CBA because a lot of people are
Right.
always, people can be funny about that. They don't want
Conflict
me
of
to
interest.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
exactly what it is. And so we reached a point to where I thought they were on the right path. They were going to, I think that they're redirected. They're on two wheels on their own now,
Right.
and I can go back to focusing on my artists. We picked up some volunteers to work with us with Lightning in a Bottle, in addition to Paula Bunyan, who does leads a lot of our graphics and a lot of our writing. We
Right on.
picked up Leah Wilson and Mickey Michelle Maupin. Hold on a second. What? Leah Davis and Mickey Michelle Maupin. And they've been starting to contribute in the writing. So we're now increasing our value to our artists on the label. And
Right on.
Lightning in a Bottle is a nonprofit label. So this now gives me time to focus that, even though I'll be on the road. Now I got a crew to help run it while I'm here, while I'm gone. So
Right on.
so that's what that was about. And if you like blues and you want to support it, find your local blues society. These are people that make a difference in these musicians' communities. They do just like you do in a very specific context.
Right.
They provide gigs, they help find gigs. They
Cool.
That's how they
so
become the nonprofit, huh? They go out and like help people get access to it.
Absolutely. And the nonprofit part, because nobody makes money on it, it allows them to operate at a low cost. It also gets them a lot of benefits through the government, no taxes, obviously.
Right
And
on.
then it also enables them to chase down grants, which again provide money from outside
Right,
sources into our musician community. So
right on.
That's
they
really
they
cool.
they feed us very well, and it's again symbiotic in the nature of that in blues musicians if they're run well.
Right, right on. So does that, are you going to still be going to do the blues convention? Are you still going to be a judge there, or like you, what's your
So you're talking
thing
about
with
the
that?
International Blues
Yeah,
Challenge put on by the Blues Foundation in
right,
January. And yes, lightning in a bottle. So I go every year for the last several
right,
years with my lightning in a bottle crew and last few years with the Cascade Blues Association. I'll still be going with lightning in a bottle with my crew there. We find new artists. So for those who don't know, the International Blues Challenge happens every year. The Blues Foundation is kind of like the Vatican of all blues associations, and most members blues associations purchase a chartership to be part of the Blues Foundation, and they're like our overhead and guide. Every year in January, they host an event in Memphis, Tennessee, where the best blues band and the best blues solo duo are sent from each blues society around the world to
right.
compete in a judged competition. And it's a networking event for those musicians. It's a networking event for blues labels, blues
Right.
marketing agencies. So that's why we go to find those artists all in one place from around the world that are the best in their field from their
Right on.
region and that are working really hard.
Right.
And lightning in a bottle, a couple of the reasons why I built it was to create an environment for myself that is safe with
Totally.
people with similar goals, and it takes ego out of the equation and puts
Yeah.
priorities and goals in the
Totally.
priorities, and it changes the workflow, it changes the thought process. And so we go there to spread our currency there and pick up more artists and help where we can and find people that meet our list of
Right on.
criteria. So
That's
that's
cool.
that. So yes, we'll still be going there.
Awesome.
One of the things last year, as a freelance bassist and a national blues bassist too, I'm able to pick up a lot of different artists. And there's several showcases that happen each week in Memphis during the International Blues Challenge. And this year, I was able to pick up I think 4 or 5 showcases to perform while I was there. So I'll be doing that again next year. I don't
Right
think I'll
on.
judge next year just because it eats up a lot of time. And now I've got some other things I need to do while I'm there. But
Right on.
again, if you're a blues lover and you want to go to Blues Disneyland every
Blues
year,
Disneyland.
that's
Yeah,
what
Right.
it
I
is.
remember
But
that.
Beale Street,
Is it like
Beale,
right after Christmas or is it towards the end of
it's
January?
typically the second or third week in January,
Okay.
and they take Beale Street and they turn it in. They close it off. It's a If you haven't been there, it's 3 blocks of blues
Right
history.
on.
The whole street is lined with venues. They
Right
shut the
on.
street down to street traffic. It's only foot traffic,
That's
and you get
cool.
several thousand people from around the world celebrating blues together.
Oh yeah.
100
It'd be a good
bands.
time.
It is again giant community.
Yeah.
So if you're interested in blues, look up the Blues Foundation's International Blues Challenge, and maybe we'll see you there next January. I hope
Okay.
so. If you do,
Okay.
and you heard me on this, come say hi to me.
Definitely, definitely, definitely. I'm see, and I'm going to try to go to some of these things. I'm going to try to, because I don't know. I like meeting musicians.
Lat, you go to the IBC this coming January. Let me know if you're going to go. I'll make sure that we can be hooked up.
Okay,
I'll
definitely.
introduce you to everyone. You can
That's
build
cool.
a next 100 interviews from
Oh,
the
I
guys.
know. I know.
There are amazing performers, amazing musicians
There's
with amazing
amazing
brands. They're
musicians.
all doing the hardest, they're those people
Exactly.
that you like and that I like.
Exactly.
So let me know
Exactly.
if you're going to go. We'll make
I
sure that
will definitely
happens.
let you know. Definitely, because
But don't
that'd
bring
be a fun
Vince.
time.
Don't bring Vince. I can't stand in his shadow in Memphis all day
Yeah, I
long.
got kicked out. I'm 86.
Yeah.
Oh, 86 from Memphis.
I'm not allowed.
That's brutal.
Not allowed in the
That-
Eastern United States.
Holy crap. I don't even want to know what you did now.
um, so what was I going to ask? There's something else I was going to ask you. So you do a cover band, don't you?
A
Like
tribute band,
a
ironically. I
tribute
never
band.
thought
Yeah. No, well, I'm not PC on the lingo.
there's
Yeah.
no wrong answer and you're not being
Right.
punished, but I'm just being specific. That's all.
Right.
Yeah, I play with an Allman Brothers tribute band. So to be clear, I don't. I prefer original music. I think that's another level of abilities required, and I embrace that. Obviously, everyone works in cover music at some point or another, and So one of the few tribute bands I would consider would be an Allman Brothers tribute band because the parts are challenging. And I found one, and so I play with the Revival Brothers band based out of Portland, Oregon. You can find us on Facebook at the Revival Brothers Band, or we have a website also. A bunch of Pacific Northwest All Stars in this band. Brady Goss, who's a Lightning in a Bottle Records artist, he plays piano for Curtis Salgado, who's a
Okay.
pretty well-known blues artist.
Definitely.
Andrew Matthews, who's in a billion Pacific Northwest bands and one of the hottest young exports out of Pacific Northwest right now on guitar.
Right.
Justin DeFries, who's one of the educators in our region. Jeff Frankel is the founder of the band, drummer from what? Tom Grant, thank you. Jazz drummer.
Tom Grant.
My wife is
That's
in the
right.
room.
Tom Grant. I forget
Your
about
manager's
him,
on
too.
board there, huh?
She's making sure I get my
The
details
boss.
right. She's my
The real
spot
boss.
fact checker. That's wrong. Yeah, Jeff was a Tom Grant's drummer forever, and he has his own band he runs called Metro, and then he drives the Revival Brothers band for us. He built a great machine. He's the one who's in charge of the aesthetics, and he really keeps it running. And
Right on.
that's a fantastic machine. We have two drummers and a percussionist. Jerry Jaquay is our other drummer, who's with a number of Pacific Northwest artists, and then Chuck Barber from the band War is our percussionist and
wow.
one of our
Shit.
vocalists.
Wow.
So
there you go.
that's
That's cool.
obviously a pretty special band to play with, and so that's that band. Yeah, I'm considering. So on this coming up tour, I've got a lot of singing, which I don't always sing, and so my voice doesn't stay exercised. But I'm going to be singing, 6 days a week. So I'm considering approaching a Rush tribute band when I get back up because I can probably
Rush
do the
is a
beginning
big deal
part.
right now.
Well, they're
Oh, you
always
got that kind of range when you keep in shape?
I do.
Wow.
I could never sing like Getty, but I can play like Getty.
Right
So
on. Right on.
nobody will notice. And I kind of look a little bit like it with the sunglasses. I don't know.
You
We'll
do,
see if that
a
works.
bit.
little bit.
My friend in Idaho, he just won tickets to see them when they come. I can't remember where they're coming close. I think Seattle or something like that.
Is this the last run for them?
For
Rush?
Rush?
Yeah.
Yeah, they came out. They have a girl who plays drums.
I
She's
saw.
phenomenal. She is so good. That video I saw, and I went, "Wow!" She's like, it was just like him, Neil Peart in there almost. She was pretty.
Yes.
She was really good. I'm impressed with her. And he's
Yeah,
got a
she had all the
keyboard player
nuances.
coming on too now. He's just going to be playing bass for the tour. Is it? So he's going to get a little freaky with the bass, I'm sure. At some point, he'll have more time to dedicate to it. I think.
He's always been a master at creating, like similar to McCartney, but in a totally different voice.
Right.
These
right.
melodic bass lines that are more than just repetitive bass lines. They actually are, as they're all counter melodic through so many parts of the song, and they're key signature parts that brilliant composition on the bass, right? They're just like McCartney, one of my favorites, not as much for the technicality of it as for the brilliance of the compositional nature of it.
Right. Yeah,
I'm phrases. Yep.
I'm definitely excited to hear more when they put a full concert on YouTube. That's what I do every week to get my concert Jones quelled a little bit, as I find something on YouTube and I just sit there and I watch the concert and I'll find myself going, fuck yeah, just like that, right on, just like I'm at a concert,
That's how it's supposed to feel.
Thank God I find myself and don't film it because it's horrible, it's like, but I get my concert Jones fixed a little bit that way, because concerts are definitely expensive, now.
Isn't that amazing? Any large concert, the numbers are unfathomable anymore to attend one of those.
Yeah.
The whoever are definitely siphoning money from everybody.
It's a lot of leakage going on, like 60% almost. You gotta wonder, but there's also a lot of people taking chunks of it, and I certainly
it goes to a lot of people,
right?
I certainly support an artist making money, especially at the highest level, making as much as they can. But I can't afford to attend a lot of the concert, any of the concerts I'd like to the big stuff. It's just cost prohibitive.
It's crazy how much they charge for tickets.
It is.
Wow.
It is
totally against what they were singing about.
Yeah, totally, exactly.
That's true. That's true.
Do you have anything that you want to ask?
Huh?
Anything you want to?
No, I'm just here to listen.
So I've actually got your list back on a piece of paper of the people you've sent me, and I'm gonna what I believe his name's TJ. Is that?
TJ Wong, yeah.
Yeah. Both you and Chad has both said that he's the guy.
Let me tell you
He's
about TJ
amazing.
Wong.
Yeah.
He's 20, just turned 24, Paula. Yeah, she's listening, 24.
Fact
And
checker.
exactly right. Just turned 24. He
Wow.
was my student since he was around 14.
Wow.
And just musically brilliant, emotionally mature, zero barriers to his musicality. And when I produce, he's my main engineer. He's
All
an
right.
adjunct professor of
Wow.
recording at the community college here. And he's one of the most efficient producers I've ever, or engineers I've ever worked with. He just practically reads my mind before I ask for something to be done.
That's
He's already
cool.
got it done. He just thinks we think the same way.
Right on.
And then you put on top the fact that he's an amazing composer in multiple genres, a brilliant singer, and as good as any guitarist that I work with, which is, you can know says a lot. And I'm
Right.
going to keep Paul out of that equation because he's a freak in the best way. So yeah,
Right on.
check out TJ Wong. He also works under the name Timothy James. He
Okay.
had been working through the Pacific Northwest a lot since he was 16. Actually, at one
So
point
he's local then. He's a
he's
local
based
kid.
out of Portland, yeah.
Okay. Right on.
And actually, at one point, there came a point where I stopped being his teacher and became his bass player, his
Oh, wow.
employee, which is kind of a funny
Wow.
transition.
Kind of a weird transition,
It is, but hey,
huh?
if he's that good, I want to be
But
a part
yeah.
of it as much as
But
I
yeah,
can.
exactly. I get
So
you.
he was working under Timothy James, creating. He has like two albums under Timothy James,
Hmm.
and when we decided they're Americana more,
Hmm.
and when he decided to put him on the blues side of it, we put him under a different identity so that there wouldn't be a confusion. So that's T.J. Wong,
Right on.
and his album Kingdom Come came out a year and a half ago or so, and some amazing writing and recording on that. Check your streaming services. T.J. Wong Kingdom Come, Lightning and Bottle Records release, and that is just lots of great songs on there. He's got this new album that they're still working on. They've been working on it for a while. He's got a producer, Dean Baskerville, who was Cheryl Crow's producer, and
Okay.
just along that kind of pedigree. And the new material on this is pop rock, and it's just stunning.
Right on.
I can't wait to hear this. I love playing his material. It's fun to play, and
Right
and
on.
I love working with this young man. He's got an amazing heart and brilliant in every way.
That's pretty
So
much what Chad said when
yeah.
when I asked him, I go, who should I talk to next? I said, and he goes, TJ.
Since we're talking about people, let's talk.
Yeah.
Because Andrew Matthews, who I've mentioned already, he plays with the Revival Brothers band. He had a Lightning in a Bottle Records release, which is more rock and some amazing rock. Paul, what was the name of Andrew Matthews' album? Oh, got her that time. Trouble. She got it. Troubled Child. Troubled Child. And I tell you, so we met Andrew when he was like 16 or 17. I like you. I searched Facebook looking for
Yeah.
artists in general, working hard,
Good.
doing it right, whether, and maybe they just need some guidance. Maybe I can just help them. And Andrew was like 16, 17, doing all this amazing stuff. So I contacted him, and this was right after lockdown too. So we were just starting to come out and be able to play together.
Right.
And he did that album. He produced it himself. He wrote all the songs. He tracked it all himself. I played on a couple of tracks. This young man is again the future of rock. He's running several bands. He's playing in the Allman Brothers tribute band. And if you
That's
know
cool.
Allman
That's
Brothers
that's
material,
cool for a kid, definitely.
and on
That'd
more
be
than one
cool.
case, I've thrown this young man on. So one of the things with Lightning and about our records, we have what we call auxiliary artists. I have Quinn Hansen, who's one of our drummers. He's 25, and we've had him for a couple of years, and we train them to play the way we want them to play, and then we
Right.
keep them with us. And
Right.
Alec Don, who just recently is working with some other folks now. It's Curtis Salgado again.
Right.
And Andrew Matthews is one of those. In addition to being a regular recording artist, we use him as an auxiliary artist. When Chad needs a second guitarist, I
Right.
can put Andrew on there, and I know that I'll give Andrew the set list. Andrew will know every second guitar part on that album by the time the show starts. I don't need a rehearsal with him. So
Wow.
they're assassins. We
That's
train them,
cool.
and they train themselves, or they come into us trained, whatever. They know how to make the music happen in the most professional manner. I'm so proud to work with these young people.
Right on. Right on.
So.
Hopefully you can get Bo over to the West Coast.
Well, I'll tell you what, I've got him scheduled. Like I think it's in Georgia. Is that where he's going
Right,
to meet me?
Georgia,
So
Georgia.
I'll be meeting
I
him
know
at the show.
you post on his stuff almost as much as I do. I noticed.
He's working hard. He's
He's a
working
good kid.
hard.
He's a cool kid, man.
He
That
is.
kid is the coolest for
Uh,
sure.
uh, so Andrew Matthews, he's on your list. Talk to him. There's another
Okay.
one, Bodie Lind. I can't remember. Is it Lindy or Lind?
Odie.
Linde. It's Bohdilinde. And I'll tell you a story about Bodie. He's a young blues artist based out of South Dakota.
Okay.
And I think he's 16, maybe turned 17 by now. Last year, the year before last, we've been trying to get together, and he's a lightning in a bottle artist.
Right.
He's working hard. He's just trying to master. He's doing everything he can to put himself on stage. He's learning hard, and I just again this amazing heart on this young man. So we've been trying to get him together. He wanted to come to the International Blues Challenge, but his local blues society had collapsed, and there are perimeter variables that you have to be within a certain range to represent a blues society. So he couldn't get there representing a blues society. He made the drive from South Dakota to Memphis just to show up and try and do something. We were able to get him on a couple of shows.
Cool.
Just
But
in case.
that commitment, I mean, and if you go
for sure. You're
check
going
out
blind.
his
You're going in blind.
Just to possibly be a backup guy or whatever, you know.
whatever, just to
Your
make the
picture.
connection, just to show your commitment. And you know what? That's exactly what that says to me. That
That's
says,
hard,
wow,
dude.
I care this much that I'm willing to take this chance. And you know what? I want to do anything I can to help somebody
Heck yeah.
making those investments in themselves.
For
So
sure.
that's Bodie Lindy. Look him up on
Okay,
social
I will.
media.
I
He's
will.
he's great content creator. I love a good heart. It's so important to me. You know, an egoless, a goal-oriented, a selfless. I love people like that, and that's who I send to you because that's the people
I
I like.
appreciate it. No, I appreciate it.
So
Yeah,
Bodie Lindy, look him up.
I will.
Frenchie Mo, New
Frenchie Mo.
Orleans,
Okay.
and she's a blues rock Cajun guitarist singer. Another one great to know. I love how you guys write this down when I talk.
I wondered how to
I won't
spell
remember.
Frenchie.
I will not remember. That's why it's recorded.
Thank goodness.
Is that just French and IMO at the end?
Frenchie, Frenchie, I think, and then
French.
MOE.
Oh, that's her last
Two
name.
names, yeah.
Frenchie
She's
Mo.
actually Mo Crynham, but I'm not going to tell you how to spell Crynham. I don't even know how.
Yeah.
But she's an amazing New Orleans artist, blues. Again, working hard. I'm going to run some up names. Out in Pennsylvania, we have who? Pat Pepin, sax player. She
Good.
has an album out not too long ago.
Fact checker's
But there's
good.
another one. Who's the auto harp? Bay Allen, Big Bay Allen. Look up Big Bay Allen. He was a finalist at the International Blues Challenge this year,
Oh,
which,
wow, that's cool.
as I've said, these are the best bands from around the country. To make the finals is almost as good as
Definitely,
winning. It's a major accomplishment. Um, so check out Big Bay Allen, Nikki Jones Band, a Portland, Oregon band. They did well at the International Blues Challenge, but aside from that, they have this new album out. Fantastic. Nikki's a great singer. She's the bass player and the great bass player. Brandon Logan, who also plays with the Johnny Wheels and the Swamp Donkeys, is a powerful guitar player. The band is just on fire. They're doing great things right now. And then, so talk to Nikki. They would love to talk to you.
Okay.
Talk to Johnny Wheels. You gotta know Johnny Wheels. Johnny Wheels is the only quadriplegic band leader in the United
I saw
States.
that. Yeah. Yeah.
And
That's
if you
cool.
don't, it doesn't matter if you don't know that because when you listen to him, that dude is just powerful.
Right.
And
Right.
again, just an amazing heart. You already had you talked to Chad, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Ah,
Chad's a cool
wasn't
dude.
Chad fun?
I need to get up there and see him on one of you guys' blues nights that you guys have up
Yes,
there. I
you
definitely
do.
want to go see it.
Every
He's a
Monday.
cool cat. He was a cool cat talking to him for
So
sure.
let me tell you about Chad. Chad's got 3 albums out on Lightning in a Bottle Records, and
Okay.
later on this year, all 3 will be re-released on vinyl.
Oh,
So
cool.
make sure you follow
Cool.
Chad on social media, or you can go to
Definitely.
his website. And like Lat said, every Monday, Chad hosts the Monday Night White Eagles Blues Jam in Portland, Oregon.
Right.
And every Monday, it's from 6 to 9. It's all ages. The first set, our first hour set, has a special guest each week, and the guests range from Doug Rappaport from the Paul Gilbert Winter Tour to Shamika Copeland's guitarist. Ken Scanlon is our guest next week.
Right.
Brady Goss, who we talked about, was our guest last week. So every week you get another national blues
That's cool.
artist special guesting with Chad. And
That's
that
cool.
I've never seen a Monday sell out a room before, but
Wow.
Right.
we do most Mondays. So
And where's this at? That you
it's
have
in
at?
North Portland.
Okay.
Why it's a McMenamins.
Oh,
So
okay.
if you're in the
Okay.
Pacific
McMenamins.
Northwest, you know about McMenamins because
Oh, yeah. We have one down here in Gearhart.
you have probably 17 down there in Gerhard.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
kidding. Just kidding. But yeah, they're all up and down the coast. And so this particular one, the White Eagle, let's talk about that for a second. It's one of Portland's most haunted buildings,
That's
legendary.
cool.
It was around from the Shanghai
Oh,
days.
wow. Oh, that's
And
cool.
most of the people I know that work there and play there have had an experience of one type or a sort of
Really?
a supernatural nature.
That's
Wow. See,
awesome.
that's my shop too. My
Oh, you
shop
like
is, oh yeah, there was a toad on the back bench and it was securely on the back bench and it fell off like it was pushed off. And I know it was my stepdad because he and I didn't get along great. And I said, listen here, pal. I said, we can work together or we can work apart, but I'm not here to fuck you guys off. I would, my intentions are all good here. I ain't gonna fuck mom off. I ain't gonna fuck your stuff off. It's all good. And it was quiet after that. Then the next
interesting.
day, the windstorms happened and it blew my door part way off in front. And I'm running around looking for lag bolts. I said, listen, I need your help. Tell me where the lag bolts are, and that's what I need right now. And showed me where the lag bolts were. you know,
Holy cow.
I caught a picture of him. I caught two pictures of him when that tote fell over. I just stood where I was and took pictures all the way around the room. And he's in two of them. I caught him in two of them.
That's amazing.
Yeah, there's
Hey,
some weird stuff going on here.
I'm going to say another name. That's amazing to hear that. And obviously, I find that interesting as well. My significant other, my manager, Paula, does as well. I'm going to mention another name that you should
Okay.
connect with. His name is Sean Sullivan.
Sean Sullivan. That
And
name sounds kind of
he
familiar.
runs a podcast up here in the Pacific Northwest.
Okay.
And it's very similar to yours. He leans more towards blues, but
Okay.
not exclusively.
Right.
And just like you, he's just building community. And I
Right.
think it would be awesome for you two to
Okay.
interview each other.
Definitely. Oh, definitely. Yeah, I want to interview a podcaster and I want to be interviewed. And I don't know what I'd say necessarily off the bat, but it's part of the process is the way I look at it. You
You
know,
do know what to say. You know
I
what your
do. I
message
know.
is.
I got it
I
done.
hear you tell me your message all the time. That's
Yeah, he just
exactly
lets
what
it
you
come
say.
out.
I do. I just let it come out. I don't, I had, when I started this thing, I had like 30 good questions because the first guy I asked to be on the show is a guy named Ronnie Borchert. He lives in Las Vegas, I believe. He had a band called Miss Crazy previously, and he wore makeup. So he's a big Kiss nut. I know
Oh
that
yeah.
much about him. But he's played with Carlos Cavazos from Quiet Riot was in his band Freak Show is the band name. But he's had Greg Chastity or what's that drummer's name? I can't remember who he played for, but he's had lots of people go through his band. Metal Church's bassist. Um, Carlos was in his band. He's had Jakey Lee play with all sorts of crazy people. And he's writes a good song. He writes a really good song. But he said to me the day we were supposed to start was, "You got the right questions." And that I went, "Fuck, I probably don't then," But so I got all these questions written up. They're all great questions, but I forget about it every podcast, and I kind of simplified it down to past, present, future.
That's good.
Past, what did you used to, what got you? I usually start with what music did your parents play that absolutely drove you mad to
That's
where
a good
you
one.
ran to rock and roll? And mine was the best of bread. I can't stand bread. I
Because
did.
that
I've got
childhood
a tick
trauma.
from dread. 8-track for 2.5 years straight. My mom played it,
You can probably
and
tell where the track shifts too,
oh,
exactly what part of which
exactly,
song.
exactly. But I developed a tick from that at one point. And now I hear him, I just want to punch somebody in the face.
Yeah.
And it sucks.
I
But
had Buffy St. Marie. You had a kid.
You poor guys. I had nothing that brutal. I'm sorry.
oh, it was brutal. The best. Then I discovered Kiss, and I went, okay, this is more like it.
Huh. That's definitely a contrast.
Yeah.
My folks were into Southern gospel. And matter of fact, when I was very young, they used to go to these gospel sings,
Right.
travel like,
Revivals.
kind of, but they were not as much about preaching. They were just about these gospel quartets,
Oh, that's cool.
a cappella and non-a cappella. And so I grew up with a lot of that. I actually started for a while. I lived in the Midwest and I actually toured with a Southern gospel band for quite a while before I came to the Pacific Northwest. So that gave
As
me
a
a great
singer?
appreciation. What's that?
As a singer?
As a guitar player at
As
that
a
time.
guitar player?
Don't tell anyone. I used to be a guitar player. And I can't compete with you. I heard Vince, and it's like, I can't play guitar
That's
anymore. I
right.
quit.
My name's
I'm,
going out there, man.
I'm just going to play bass. I'm not going to battle this battle. I can't win. Uh, so
Well,
I have
I
I'm
a,
know
sorry to
someone. I know
discourage so
someone
many that
who
way.
knew you when you were heavy metal, Timmer.
when would that be?
I don't know. He said you were
I,
heavy metal.
I had some hard rocks. Paul's the heaviest metal I've done, and he's not straight heavy
Matt
metal.
Peppard. Matt Peppard. He's a
That name rings
drummer.
a bell.
He's a drummer. Lives out in like Forest Grove area.
I did a lot of things. I've blocked out a lot of those memories,
Yeah.
so it could be one of those.
Yeah, he said you were pure heavy metal for a while.
It could be one of those
Different
blocked,
thing.
repressed memories. I don't want to know, so I don't go to the therapy. I'm just going to let it sit in the back and not know. Right here, I'll be right
Okay.
back. It's
Oh, yeah.
brought to you by Diet Pepsi.
Take it easy on that stuff.
Oh yeah, eat you up live.
Hey, so like you say, you've given this guy instructions, and now he's really good. Do you guys do the sight reading and all that? And
No, so let's talk about that. That's a valid question and a good topic. As a teacher, mostly what I teach is built around technique, the physical way we interact with the instrument, and then music theory, which really gives us the answer to why we can make the choices we make. And when we understand music theory and the machinery of how, as you know, Vince, as the machinery of how music works, learning becomes easier, memorizing becomes easier because you're just assembling blocks of knowledge that you already have because
you hear
all
the
songs use
intervals.
the exactly
Yeah.
intervals, scales, modes. It's all universal, and there's only a finite number of ways to combine these things that sound pleasing, unless you're Paul Gilbert.
Shameless
So
plug. Shameless plug.
well, it's just the reality. That's one of the things about so one of the things about great composition, for example, the song Take Five. Well, we know it's in 5/4. We know that playing in 5/4 does not normally come easily and does not sound comfortable. It is not natural for us. One of the demonstrations of great composition is making something bizarre like that sound natural. Take
Yeah.
Five doesn't feel like it has a
It
stutter. It
doesn't
flows
feel
perfect,
like it's got that
but it
extra heat in
does.
there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So anytime
That
you can
extra screw at
conceal
the end of it.
right. Break the rules and conceal the bizarreness. That's where mastery lies. And that's one of the things Paul does. He's always breaking the rules. Every song
Definitely.
has like three time signatures and four tempos. It's just, you can't do that, but he does, and it works every time. So I teach a lot of theory because understanding that is where the real power is. It's where our vocabulary becomes
Right.
relevant. I can tell you how chords are made, ones, threes, and fives, seven. I can explain everything once we have the same vocabulary. So that's a lot of what I focus on in my teaching. What was the beginning of that question? Did I cover the answer? Oh, you did.
You don't bother with the sight
Thank you.
reading, but you do
So,
teach the theory. You're
so
teaching
let's talk about that too,
sight
because
hearing, you know,
ear training
ear hearing.
I teach chord chart reading. I think that's really significant. Sight reading has a value depending on the environment you're going to be in. There are environments where it is required, and having it as a skill will certainly remove any barriers from you at all, other than unless you can't play well. But
Right.
some environments require that, and if you don't have it, you can't do it. So I don't teach it because most of the people I teach don't work in environments like that. But I do teach chord charting and composition and all those things. And I teach a lot of marketing and I teach a lot of brand building and just anything I know that anyone wants to learn, I teach.
Right on.
Yeah. Cool.
That's definitely important.
Yeah.
I know like for musicians up and coming, to get some of those skills. Like Jesse
If
Lee
you're going to
does
be
it.
like a session musician or something like that, you got to be able to read. If you're going to be in an orchestra, a symphony, you got to be able to sight read
Right.
stuff
That's
like that.
exactly right. If you're in those formal kinds, or if you're going to go
Yeah.
to music school, you'll
Right.
need to. And learning to sight read once you go down that path is no more challenging than anything else. It's just another language.
Right.
Yeah.
And again, you're only dealing with 12 notes and a finite number of rules. One of the
Periods.
things when I was first learning that was terrifying to me was the feeling that the choices were infinite and I'll never learn it all. And how could I possibly get it all in? And the more we learn, the more we realize it's the exact opposite.
Similarities. Yeah.
Incredibly finite. The number of options that are going to work are incredibly finite. Really one scale at any one given moment. That's really finite. And it's a very quantifiable answer that we can tangify. Is that a word?
Yeah.
Tangify? I like that.
Hey, tangify sounds good.
I'm going to use that again.
Quantify and tangify.
So that's why I like music theory. That's why I teach theory. It's empowering. And you were talking about being a session player, being able to speak the vocabulary with somebody that speaks the vocabulary is how you get the gig. It's how you get respect. I respect anybody that can speak modes to me or tell me what I need to do in a language that we both understand. We're going to work well together. People that don't have the vocabulary, that doesn't mean there's not doable at all, but
Right.
that can sometimes slow the process down
It
and
would
be a
slow it. You'd
barrier.
have to take time to learn it and
You have
process
to
it
show
and
it to
think
me instead
about
of
it.
just telling it to me, and you don't know how to write it down, whatever
Yeah.
the case is. So obviously, in the most competitive profession in the whole world that everyone wants to be a musician. You got to take away all the barriers that keep you from that. You have to, not everyone does that. That's one of your advantages if you're taking those barriers away.
Right.
What are the barriers in your life that are keeping you from being the musician you want to be? Is it, I can't leave home because I have a cat, so I can't go on tour, whatever that case is.
Right.
Is it, I have a substance abuse problem, so I can't hold down a gig?
Right.
If you want to do this, you have to remove the barriers that make it not possible so that
Yeah.
you can get it where other people can't.
Right.
And that's it's about you. It's about empowering yourself, taking barriers away.
Right.
Yeah, it could, because it is so highly competitive. Someone else has definitely taken the steps to remove their barriers. You
Yep.
probably
Exactly
have
right.
also, you know.
And at the same time, when we look at it that way, it's no longer a competition. It's me against me.
Yeah.
Right.
If I'm failing, it's because I'm not the best me. It's not because somebody was better than me. That's on them. It's on me for not being a better me because I get to choose how good of a me I get. The harder I work, the more me I am, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah. And the happier you are with yourself, even if you don't achieve whatever,
Right.
outside goal you had going in the first place. But
What,
you sound like a real humanitarian. Like, I've noticed that amongst a lot of the people who work hard in the art industries, like music, whatever, that they're greatly committed to this uh, feeling of equality, this whole feeling of helping each other, passing it along. If you get something good, pass some of that
Gotta
down
give
to
it
the
away.
next guy
Gotta give
too.
it
You're,
away.
you're there to share it. Keep it,
It's exactly
keep it.
right. Oh, and I also the relationships that we build in this process are a critical part of how we succeed. Um, Good, healthy relationships built out of mutual respect. That's who people recommend. That's how I got the Paul Gilbert gig. Uh, I used to work a lot with Jimmy Bott, who was from the Fabulous Thunderbirds, and
That's
a
cool.
number of large national blues acts. And he lives in the Pacific Northwest. And back in 2019, when Roland Garand couldn't do the tour for the Behold Electric Guitar, he contacted Jimmy and asked for a recommendation. And Jimmy recommended me because we worked together. So that's where your referrals will come from. That's how you get that. Just maintain those relationships,
Right.
treat them like they matter, and those people
Definitely.
will be your referrals. And you become the referrals for the others then too, which is that symbiosis part.
Right on. Right on.
Cool. What do you think of AI?
I'm glad you asked. I'm
Huh?
glad you asked. All right, so let's talk about AI. Uh, I believe in roots musics like blues and Americana. First of all, wow, AI can write songs and produce songs and just out of nowhere, right? Wow. What? And it's, I've heard musicians get fooled by these AI songs, not recognizing there was no human involvement in the creation of these songs. So the first response is, holy crap, what am I going to do now? Right. But I think here's the reality. Um, First off, organic roots music's part of the appeal of the music is the humanity, the flaws, the errors. You
Right.
don't produce a blues album to perfection. You produce it to show the character of the artist and
Right.
those.
Yeah.
So I don't think AI is going to emulate that. So there's that. There's a secondary portion of that where give me a second.
Yep.
Sorry, I'm gonna take a drink while I process my thought. Mhm.
It can't be original because it can only be a collection of things that have been done. I mean,
But in terms of copyrightability, it's original.
yeah, it's original as far as
Right.
copyright,
Yeah.
but it's not going to break any barriers. It's
The other
not going to be
part,
like,
you're right. No, no. Well, there's an artist, there's more than one that I've heard of, and I can't tell you their names. They're not real people. They're somebody created an AI song, they
yeah,
created an AI image, and that is now an artist selling AI music. So,
that's
but so here's the other part in the roots music, and Paul Gilbert is a good example, even though he's not roots music per se. Well, I guess he is because he's guitar specific, but um the personality, the character, the artist themselves, the human. That's one of the things that people are interested in. One of the things about Paul that people are so drawn to him is his personality. He's so unique, he's so interesting. AI can't be that. AI can't be a human. With Roots Music's, with Chad, with TJ, the fans follow them as people, not just musicians. They want to know about them. They want to know their character. They
Right.
want to feel like they're part of that. Smaller genres are much more able to do that than gigantic genres because with 10,000 followers, artists are approachable. With 50,000 followers, they're still approachable versus the Rolling Stones. You ain't going to reach anyone at the Rolling Stones
Oh,
house,
no.
right?
Right.
So there's that. I'm not afraid of AI for blues. I actually believe, and I'm crossing my fingers, that given a little bit of time, AI will drive people to blues and roots musics for the humanity of it because of the
Right.
repulsion of the perfection. So I think we might see a boost eventually because of that. Now, secondary, AI is a tool, and any musician not using that tool is going to be disadvantaged from anyone using that tool. Now, let's talk about how I consider that tool okay and how other people's do. As far as I'm concerned, I don't mind it being used to create a well-produced demo for an artist, for a band to hear to learn, because
Right.
I know you can program all the parts of the song into there, have AI make a recording for you,
Yeah.
and it sounds just like you want the end result to sound. I'm not okay with that being released, but I am okay with that being given to the band to learn their parts because it's one way to document. I've got no problem with that, but that music is not made by humans at that point, and I don't would never want to sell that, and I don't want to be associated with that. And I'd prefer nobody ever hear that happened. I probably shouldn't have told all this. Um,
No, we
but
know like that Rust, whatever that Rust one is, the country song that made it to like number 6 or 7, and it's not
AI.
written by a human, it's
and
not
there it is, and
sung
that's
by a human.
okay.
It's a product of AI, and I know the record companies are licking their lips, going, "We don't even have to pay artists anymore if we can do this. We create it ourselves,
Right.
and we get all the money that way."
Right.
We buy
I've
a
seen it.
machine that creates it. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
crazy. Yeah. Again, I don't think it's going to hold forever. Um, I think that artists not using AI for graphics, for social media, for writing, for anything to expedite their processes and make them better will fall behind, and the artists doing those things will get ahead. Whether you're using it, I would not have no objection to using AI for making videos. I mean, one of the
that's
best
what
tools
I
you can
do.
That's
have.
what he does a lot of.
It's all AI. My whole
That's
video.
that's
I don't
awesome.
own a camera.
I think one of a powerful tool to get people to hear your song is to have an interesting video, 15 seconds to go along with it, and whatever it takes for you to be able to do that. If it's AI, I don't care, do it. And the more interesting, and you know what, AI videos are kind of interesting to look at. So
Not cool.
that's my position on AI. I am not afraid of it. Begin. Paul's not mainstream. Paul's a very specific guitar followers. You go to his shows, and every single show's 1,000 guys standing there and two girls looking at
Progressive.
their phones bored. Two
Right.
girlfriends,
He's
right?
pretty
So
progressive. He sounded a little like Yes, is a couple songs I heard the other night. It reminded
he,
me of Yes, which is
definitely you can hear some Beatles in there. You can
yeah.
hear he's very melodic and diverse in his playing. His bass lines fascinate me too, because he obviously comes at things from a very different
Right.
direction. So I always learn new things watching his bass line.
Right
So,
on.
but like the big bands, like I can't name any right now, but international huge sellers. I can't say they're going to take a hit from AI, but they'll have some new competition that isn't real people.
You're gonna have to
But
work a little harder,
yeah, but real niche genres, roots musics, the personalities are going to be part of what make that through that AI can't generate. The people also live interaction. I mean, the Paul tours,
Right.
getting to see him live is a thing. An AI artist can't tour, so there's going to be barriers on that. So I fear it not. I'm going to hope to get better at capturing its power and using it for myself and my artists.
That's cool.
Right on.
Yep.
That was a good question. Very
Yeah.
good question.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Vince,
AI can't tell a story about its 8th birthday.
Right.
So like,
that's
why would
true.
happen
Yeah.
to-
That damn AI lies. Can't tell the truth.
AI lie. Yeah, they'll
I
program
actually have a
it.
funny story. Paul used AI in learning about Washington's rules. He finds a lot of information. He studies using AI, and it was before he had gotten the physical copy of the book, and he had started writing the songs using how AI defined these rules and listed them out for him. And after the songs were written, one of the rules weren't real. One of the rules didn't actually exist in the book, which was
Really?
Yeah, you gotta
yes.
check it.
So AI
Wow.
made up one of the rules, recognizing the pattern, and Paul didn't even catch it until after the fact. So
Cheating
double check, you got to
bastard.
fact check AI. That's crazy, right?
Yeah, I caught Gemini and there's like, oh, my bad, you're right. That's not correct.
Or at least they own it.
Like,
At least they don't try and gaslight you.
yeah, they don't. They're not like that. They won't
No,
lie.
you're mistaken. Yeah.
That's funny.
Vince, what kind of guitars are you playing?
I gotta. I only buy intermediate guitars because when I play live,
Yeah.
I sweat so much. I destroy. I mean, people have like, hey, you want to use my Les Paul? No, dude,
No,
don't let
dude.
me touch that thing.
That's
Better
amazing.
keep it
It's
away from
gross.
me, man.
Put you
I
in a full
sweat
bodysuit.
crazy. It's nerves, whatever. I have stage fright. It's not normal for me to be on stage, I guess. People can't tell except for the sweat, I perform okay, but yeah, I'm really uncomfortable on stage, but I still love it. I love to do it. I
I
can't
do.
wait to do it again. So trying to put some stuff together out here. Haven't tried hard yet. I mean, mostly
It'll
just doing
happen
what I
though.
do. Yeah, I'm gonna do it, but yeah, it's I bought what do I got right now? Mostly I play my Fender, um, but it's an HHS, so it's the humbuckers.
Yeah.
I got a HHHH also, so I got the humbucker set on a Fender Telly, which pretty much means the point of it being a telly, but I do like the feel of the telly,
Well,
so
the
it works
scale is
really well
part of
for me.
the scale is
The
part of the
scale
telly
is
too, not
really good.
just.
I really like that neck, that telly neck.
Do you
So
have any coil taps or on?
yes, yeah,
So
but it
you get
doesn't it
sync.
doesn't really sound like a telly still.
Oh,
It neither sounds like a Les Paul or a single coil. It's
or
kind of
something that isn't
somewhere
a
in
Les Paul.
between, but it still sounds good. It's a what do you call it? A least Paul or something? It's not quite there. And even less Paul, but
Not more Paul, less Paul.
That's
but
awesome.
but it's still real good. I mean, it sounds real good. It just doesn't quite capture the feel of the guitars it would mimic.
Well, there's no
So
penalty against that. The rule book doesn't say you have to
yeah,
sound
there
exactly
isn't.
like that. There's
Yeah,
no rule book.
exactly.
It's art. It can be
Yeah.
whatever you want to, as long as, and I think that's an important thing to recognize too. It can be whatever you want to. There really aren't any rules. It depends on, if your goals are monetizing, then you got to follow a certain mold to some degree.
Yeah.
But if your goal is to create art, create art. There are
Yeah,
no
there's no way to
rules.
stop you,
Yeah,
you know, except your own imagination.
Yep.
that's exactly right. Be
Yeah,
who
and
you.
he noted like I'm all over. There's no way I could have I don't fall into a genre because it's just like
He
inside
has
of
some
8 songs,
there's
everyone's
10
a different
different
genre.
styles
It's
in
like,
there.
yeah,
You
it's
know,
just I
he
just do whatever I feel
and
like
it's
doing that day,
tight.
whatever I
It's
stumble
tight.
into. If I stumble onto a good riff, I write that,
Well,
I
that's
go
good
with
not to
that.
be bound by a genre and not to have an
Right.
expectation. So, what are your goals? And let's talk about this for a second. I think that is one of the key paths, obviously, maintaining our enthusiasm through the process that is challenging and frustrating is difficult. And one of the ways we do that is by setting goals and achieving goals. Even if you're not doing those big things that you want, as you achieve each little one, it's like, okay, at least I
Little
have a
ones are
marker
big
that
victories all the time. I know
it's,
5 pound that. The little ones are really important.
they are equally important because they
Yeah.
help us to know that we are making progress,
Yeah.
even if it's not that end result.
Right.
A bunch of little is a bunch of big, is a
Oh
one
yeah.
big. So
Definitely.
so know what your goals are so that to help yourself maintain. And being specific with your goals is tantamount to achieving them, because to say I want to make music is not a very specific goal. To say I
Right.
want to sell music online via streaming services, okay, now you've got some target goals. I want to do shows. Whatever the case is, be specific about your goal, because once you know where you're trying to get, you can build the path to
Right.
get there.
Right.
Until you know
Imagine
where
every step of the way. When you have realistic
you
goals,
can
then you know
see
what
it.
you
And
want.
and you can see, once you have the long-term goal, you can see what the short-term goals are. Somebody's already done it. How did they do it? You can find that easily.
Yeah.
So knowing where you're going is a big part of how to get there.
Definitely.
And that people take that for granted. They assume that they know what they want, but they actually might not.
Right.
And I challenge people to review what their goals truly are, and make sure it's very, very specific. What would you like your life to look like 10 years from now, 5 years from now, specifically?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, that's hard too.
It is
I
hard.
mean, you really got to think. You got to know yourself,
Yeah.
and that's a
You
big
got
deal. That's not easy.
No,
it's not, but
no,
you know, once you figure that out, and you can change your mind.
exactly.
Exactly.
You
The
once
more
you,
you
I mean,
learn
once
about
you
yourself, you
Right.
probably will. But
Yeah, exactly.
and as you start down a path, your perspective changes, and that's when you see other options that you didn't even know
Right.
existed because now
Yeah.
you're moving. One of the things about growing, and you have to keep moving, or the perspective never changes. And so, by following a path a little way, all of a sudden you see whole new options that you might not have known existed, and you can change paths then. But you never get there if you don't keep moving forward.
Right. Right.
Yeah, and that's a big part of it is just every day get up, put your head down, drive forward no matter how you feel, make another action that
Yep.
makes a difference, plant seeds. I call it launching grenades. I,
Yeah.
I,
launch
I,
grenades.
I've been having fun. So I set some goals for myself the end of last year to since I had this tour coming up, I really wanted to take advantage. I don't know when I'll have another Paul Gilbert tour. He doesn't tour every year. He doesn't do an album every year.
Right.
He does a lot of different things. And he is my biggest, as a bass player, we kind of are coattail riders. My reputation is starts with who am I tied to that's bigger than me. And so um, I now have 1 year of a lot of intense focus on me to maximize that to something more valuable at the end of this time period when this expires. So I set my goal to increase my social media footprint as much as I could. And I started that allowed me to set some paths for growing my social media numbers that were very specific. And I doubled from 6,000. I'm almost at 14 on my Facebook, which is
Cool.
my primary.
That's cool.
And so there's an example of setting those
It takes
paths.
hard work doing that stuff. I
It
find
does. It's diligence
it's a lot
and
of hard work.
repetition. Well, you know, what you're doing is part of the process is
Yeah.
consistency, repetition, building the product,
That's what
and
I'm trying to do. The
you're doing it.
consistency part is my biggest enemy right now, because something tends to go wrong every time, something, but I'm getting better, at it.
You continue to get better, and you
Yeah,
will, and that's what matters. Is
exactly.
those little markers help us to stay motivated
Yep,
and get to the end goal.
definitely.
I might have lost my path on the first part of that, but I think we got enough information
Right.
out of that one.
I ride both coattails is what I do.
Yeah.
Gladly, gladly. Yeah,
Hey, that's a valid point. And you know, I don't hear people talk about this ever. Oh, and that's how I started because I was talking about getting beat up in social media because I started very proactively posting things in large groups
right,
and you know 95% of social media are like, yeah, I get that they're bass players or whatever, and 5% are "Meh, cranky
right,
man. They're so mean.
right.
But anyway, oh, I lost my start there. Anyway, my goals for that were increasing my social media numbers to fully take advantage of this opportunity. And I set my steps to do that. And I've been getting tangible markers. And the byproduct of that is I learned how to really do that with my Lightning in a Bottle page, which right now we're just focusing on. And also the Revival Brothers page. We've been able to double that in the last couple of months.
That's cool.
So I'm learning those processes as setting my goals and solving that.
Yeah, it's social media has definitely changed everything, and I know that. And you got to focus on the social media as much as on the art,
It
it seems
is,
like.
it doesn't matter if you're the best band in the world if nobody knows.
That's
Uh,
right. That's right.
and yeah, social media. And again, even if you're a terrible band, but you're good at social media,
Right.
there are things you're going to
You got a
Oh
succeed.
yeah.
following.
Yeah.
You
Yep.
do.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So
You can win the battle of the band sucking if you got the right
exactly.
stuff.
You can, if it's a
You
vote, if
know?
it's a voting thing, that's exactly
Yeah.
right. Another part of that is the internet and social media has every musician with what record labels provide is they provide machinery for marketing. That's what they do. And they provide budget for all of that. That's what a record label does in most cases. The internet has made everything but the budget part available to any musician who wishes to chase it and pursue it. Any musician can be their own record label. One of the nice parts, the reason one of the advantages of having Lightning in a Bottle Records is it allows me to market things in a third person if it's my own product. I don't have to say Timmer is this and that. It's like I can speak as a third person. It gives a different credibility when a company is talking about you as a product versus you talking about
Right.
yourself.
Right.
So, and one of the whole things about this marketing is painting the picture that you want people to see of you. The only thing they know about you is what you tell of them. So
Right.
tell them exactly what you want them to think.
Right.
And that's paint the picture that you are, you
Yeah,
get the
exactly.
Hmm.
As if. You know, I'm a big
So
believer in that because I don't have drive every day. You know, I've got life happening around here and I get discouraged, but I try to just go on as if I know what I'm doing, or as if I'm that expert, or whatever. You know, I'm farther along than I am. You know, and eventually I'll be farther along than I am. You know,
that's how mastery is
yeah,
eventually achieved. That is the process. So just keep going, and every time you get a little bit better,
that's
and
right. That's
that's it.
right.
So just keep doing.
Yeah.
Do is so important. One
Yeah.
of the things you might consider to help increase your footprint.
Hmm.
Are you sharing? So,
See,
are you
I'm
I heard
trying.
about that algorithm, how you share, repost and stuff like that. You get a couple sites, and
Right.
even though it's yourself doing it,
Right.
all all they see is that it's being shared a lot,
Okay.
you know. So like I should be sharing your stuff, you should be
Right.
sharing
Okay.
mine,
Okay.
interacting? You're
to each
absolutely
other.
right. So let's talk about that. So if it's a video, the longer somebody watch, the higher percentage of the video that they watch, the more likely it will be propagated. So if it's a 3-minute video and they watch 10 seconds, that's not good. If
Right.
it's a 10-second video and they watch 10 seconds, that's good.
Right
So
on.
don't post anything longer than you can maintain their attention. And I'm not talking about your podcast,
Right.
although you could do some 15
Well,
second, 20-second clips.
that's
That
what
would
I
be
need
great.
to start doing, making some reels because I've got some good ones between all the shows that I can pull
Perfect.
off easily.
Highlights. And so you make those, you post them, keep them so that so one of the things, and remind me where we left off because I'm going to
Okay.
chase a rabbit now.
Okay.
One of the things I've been focusing on in the past several months, I kind of identified this thing is reducing static. And that is the noise that interferes with what really wants to be heard or should be heard. And that talks about my playing, reducing the static in my playing, which are the notes that don't belong there,
Mm-hmm.
notes that are superfluous. I don't need that to make the statement. It's actually distracting from that, whether it be noises. Obviously, mistakes are static, timing errors. So, perfecting all those things is reducing the static and refining the message that I want them to hear in my notes. The same goes with how I speak. I'm trying to refine my message, get it in the fewest amount of words. I don't know if I do it well ever, but when I'm marketing my stuff, I'm refining my message, reducing the static. That's it. Reduce the static in your wordage in your video. A 15-second highlight that is just 20 important words with no ums and static. Find those moments, find those lightning in a bottle moments, capture those. Then find the topic appropriate groups. And for you, it would be like there's lots of guitar groups,
Right.
there's lots of rock and blues groups, blues and rock groups on Facebook is where I use my create those, share those into those groups that have 500,000 people. And because your topic appropriate, it's a shotgun, do 10 of them every time you
Yeah.
do one of those little clips.
Okay. Okay.
If 100 of the 500,000 people watch that, you're getting some traction.
Oh yeah.
Ask them for what you want. Say, hey, here's my podcast with Timur Blakely on his tour with Paul Gilbert. Give me a follow for more of this content. And you have a little 15
See,
second.
that's the thing. I need to do stuff like that.
Ask for what you want. And so you do that once a day into those. Find a bunch of groups like that that
Right.
have high quantity numbers. Share into those, and once a day over time it
Right.
and that's how I doubled from 6,000 to 14,000
How, mu-
in a very short period of time.
That's
how,
cool.
how much time daily do you actually dedicate to just going on social media, answering or saying stuff?
So
Very or
I run 3 different social Facebook and Instagram accounts. I run my Timber Blakely account, which is my personal page. I run 4, my Guitar Mageddon page, Lightning in a Bottle Records page, and the Revival Brothers page. I run those 4 pages. For my own, I don't create content daily, but I share events frequently because I have a lot of in-town gigs. I market those heavily
Mhm.
every week. So maybe I'll probably do an hour of sharing and propagating an hour a day, and all of the context together. Some days I'll spend a whole day marketing because you have to create events for everything. I create a lot for Lightning in a Bottle. I have to create graphics. For those who don't know, Canva, it's an app for your
I
phone.
use Canva. I did. Somehow they got me blocked. Uh,
For you sending them bad
Sonic.
pictures.
No, put dick
I
pics on
was.
Canva. Totally put tits and
That was
ass on
me.
there. porn. I was like,
He had
AI
great
porn.
moves.
You're the only person banned every state east of Mississippi
Canada was like,
and
sir,
Canada.
this is not the environment for that.
Yeah, like I'm
We
having.
like your stuff though.
I've been having everybody. I try to have everybody now doing. I learned, my name is so and so, and I learned my lessons from the thank you box as a little catchphrase type thing.
Perfect.
Everybody's gonna go, "What the fuck's this thank you box?"
That's exactly right. Hey, you know what? A while back, a couple years ago, I started Right Here, Right Now, which is just me in a selfie with people that I want to highlight at that moment in time. And after about a year of that, people would come up, hey, can you do a Right Here, Right Now with me?
Right on.
And they still do it. And people are really, so that branding,
Yeah.
creating that little thing and be consistent and pound it into their head. Once you find
Yeah.
something that works, just keep hitting it. Even if it's not working, unless it's stupid,
Right.
then just keep
Right.
doing it. And eventually,
I think it'll pick, people will grasp it eventually. I'm sorry, I got, my family doing them, whoever who will say it, and I've got some good versions of it coming out. Like my cousin, he did one last week, and he's in his hot tub about half tanked, and he goes, I can do one different. I said, no, the one with your titties is the best one,
that does sell. I do know that sells.
Yeah, it does, but
Man, tits don't sell. Actually, it does.
But it's it's people are getting into it. The people I've asked to do it like it. They think it's a pretty cool little catch.
I think it's a great idea. I think it's good branding.
I know. Oh, I'm gonna have him.
Yeah, have the policeman do it.
But it's I don't know. I'm having fun with this. I know that. I appreciate you being involved, because you're involved in my podcast a lot. I talk to you about everything, I know that. And
I appreciate what you're doing. It helps me get my message. It helps me achieve my goals. And you do it with love and you do it with the right goals. And I think knowing truly what the goal really is, as opposed to sometimes we have subconscious goals that serve ego, and identifying that's not a real goal. That's just about this and killing them. And I think you're nailing that. I think that it's selfless and makes the world a better place. It increases the currency value of the entire world through every part of it.
Exactly.
All right, fellas, I'm going to let you guys go. I'm sorry I missed.
Thank you for coming.
You stay on a long time. We know how busy you are.
I appreciate it.
I enjoy you so much, Vince. I'm going to keep practicing.
Subbing to all your stuff, and I'll check you out and say hello on your.
Find me on Facebook, especially. I'll be interacting, and I do TikTok. So do me a favor, send me a message on TikTok. I want to see your videos. Definitely.
That's where I've just released that video today.
He does a good job.
That's what I want to go look at. All right. Hey guys, I'll talk to you when I'm on the road. I appreciate you, Vince. Nice to meet you. And tell Bo I said hi. I'll see him in Georgia.
I will. That'll be cool. That'll be awesome. Have
Bye,
a great
guys.
day, Timmer. Talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Damn, what a cool guy.
Cool. He's a cool dude, huh? He's he's way cool.
Makes me.
I'm Timmer Blakely, and I learned my lessons from the Thank You Box.